And a good morning to you once more, Lagos. Welcome inside the locker room. It's 8:15 today, Wednesday, the 2nd of May, and time to jump into the world of sports. Joining Valentine and myself this morning on Smooth Breakfast inside the locker room, we have got Tega Onojaife, aka Tega Supreme. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning.
Great to have you here with us. How you doing? Alert, awake, you're good?
Yes.
Okay.
To an extent.
Clearly.
Progress to some extent. It's okay. We'll take it. We'll take the little we can get. Lagos, let's remind you that we are on YouTube by now. You should know the designation, youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos, where Val is just giving you a nice wiper, a good wave. You can send us messages up on the live video chat there. We will be looking at it on our screens over here. And you can also send us messages to our WhatsApp number, which is 0809 444 0981. But if tweeting is your thing, just use the hashtag LockerRoom981 so we are able to easily find your messages and read them out over the airwaves. And now let's talk about Toronto. So the Toronto Raptors had game one of their conference semi-final series on a tee against the tired and struggling Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, they were rested, they were home, and they got to play a fatigued LeBron James. But the Cavs are ahead 1-0 in the series, pulling off yet another close game victory with 103 to 112 points overtime win on Tuesday night.
My goodness.
That's a shave.
I'm telling you.
That's the skin they used to pass. While James had 26 points, 11 rebounds, and 13 assists for a nice looking line, but he was certainly off his game, shooting 3 for 15 in the fourth quarter and overtime. The Raptors are now 1-11 in their past 12 games, game ones, and 1-7 at home. And for the third year in a row, the Cavs are up 1-0.
I'm going to say this first of all. LeBron had an off night towards the tail end of the game.
Exhausted.
Yeah, he's exhausted, but he had 26 points. Look, his stats is a normal person's good game. That's what it is. I mean, he had a triple double. That's
pretty good.
Yeah, that's somebody's good perfect game. Kevin Loves, if you ask me, but again, Kevin Love didn't show up. But the good news here was that the other Cav members showed up. Tristan Thompson scored 14 points. J.R. Smith, who went to a playoff game and scored 0 points one time, he scored 20 this time around. Jeff Green had 14 points. Kyle Kova, I think, had 19 points. So the rest of the Cavs team finally picked up the slack when he dropped it. But here's what it is. It seems like regardless of whichever Cavs team face Toronto Raptors, as soon as they see LeBron James, all the Lions just become
crumbling down.
That's what happens. Because you think about it, they nullified the threat of DeRozan and what's his name again, Lowry. So both of them really didn't have anything to do. It was like they were not on the game. They were shivering. They were mentally destabilized. It was just wrong. And these are the Cavs teams that struggled or just barely managed to beat the Pacers. The Pacers will tell you that there was goaltending not called. The Pacers will tell you that there were some fouls not given, and this is why they are out of the playoffs. But they've still managed to give the Cavs a game till Game 7. And these Toronto Raptors are supposed to be the biggest thing in the East right now, and they're still down again. Another year. The third year, this is because the last 2 seasons they've been knocked out. So this is should it be third time lucky? I think there's still hope.
Okay.
But for me, ultimately in the playoffs, what it comes down to is how well can you defend your home court, and they didn't defend it well because Cavs came here and Cavs beat them so bad. Jeff Green, Andrew Perkins got into a fight with Drake. And Drake wasn't even playing. He was just there to support his guys. They were exchanging words at the end of the game.
So
they had to carry Kendrick Perkins off the court.
Why so emotional?
It was
sports.
You know how some things can pain you. Some things can pain. But they'll be all right. I hope that in game 2 they bring it because they really did. They did manage to get the game to overtime. But I mean, for you to lose to a struggling Cavs, a fatigued struggling Cavs, it cannot just be physical. It has to be some kind of mental slavery.
Wow.
Deep. So the president of the National Association of Nigerian Footballers, NANF, Harrison Jallah, has hailed the Supreme Court ruling on Friday, April 27th, 2018 on the case between Chris Giwa and the Nigerian Football Federation. The NANF boss insisted that the election that brought Pinnick to office should never have held because, quote, a federal high court had passed an order restraining the NFF Electoral Committee from conducting the purported Warri election through which the Pinnick board emerged. In consequence of the disobedience of that court order, the court nullified the purported election. End of quote. Jallah said, the position of the law is clear. Pinnick can no longer parade himself as president of the NFF, as his election had been annulled by a court of competent jurisdiction.
Okay, let's clarify something here first. The position of which law is clear, because the FF they operate under the laws of FIFA, and in the laws of FIFA, government cannot interfere.
So what law is it talking about?
It beats me. Here's what it is. And this is what happened. The court did not nullify the elections. The court just said, okay, so Amaju Pinnick won an election. Chris Giwa took them to court. First of all, you can't do that with FIFA. Your option is to take it to FIFA, to take it to CAS. CAS has reviewed it. CAS has banned even Chris Giwa from FIFA. Sorry, CAF has banned FIFA. Chris Giwa. FIFA has banned Chris Giwa. He can't take any case anywhere. So that's the channel he should have taken he's supposed to take his complaints to. And they didn't find anything wrong with the election, so it's settled. He now took it to the Nigerian court, which is not even constitutional under FIFA, except Nigeria wants to operate on Nigerian football wants to operate under a different law. So he takes it to Nigerian court. They throw it out. So this court is now saying, don't throw it out. Look at it.
Okay.
So they didn't nullify it. Yeah. They just said
go back.
Let's go back and look at it. So as it is, as we stand, Amaju Pinnick is still the president of the NFF. The people that are making all this noise are people that are fighting against him or quarreling against him. Here's what is interesting. Amaju's tenure ends in June.
That's what you see. That was my question. I was like, why is this good? Are they pushing for this so hard so late in the game? The tenure is almost done.
They've been pushing for it since, and it was from the. I don't want to solve it. I don't care about solving it. It's not a jurisdiction. We've reached this part that his tenure has already ended. It's June.
Just a month.
Why don't you people gather yourself together as a party and contest for the next election instead of making a fool out of it? I mean,
and wasting time and resources.
And the World Cup is just here. You can't be throwing Nigeria into this area because my point of reading this story was to correct that impression, that news or fake news or misunderstanding of the court ruling.
Yes,
Amaju Pinnick is still president of the NFF. The court did not nullify his election. They just said he should take it back to the Supreme Court to review the case. That's what they did. So this guy that is celebrating victory that he did not win, I don't understand.
Let's keep it moving and talk now about tennis and Serena Williams, who could be finding her way back to the top. 7-time champion Serena Williams could still be made the #1 seed at Wimbledon this year, even if the American does not climb back into the world's top 32 before the tournament. Now, Richard Lewis, who's the chief executive of the All England Club, said it was a big decision. You see, Lewis had said initially that he thought it was unlikely that Williams would be given a seeding if she was ranked outside the 32 in the run-up to the tournament, which starts on the 2nd of July. However, the club then later issued a statement clarifying that its committee had the discretion to seed a player for the championships regardless of their ranking. And the club said, and I quote, "The seeding order follows the WTA ranking list, except where in the opinion of the committee, a change is necessary to produce a balanced draw. The seeding meeting is due to take place on the 26th of June. And Tega, I wonder how much of this is a result of the backlash that we've seen when it comes to Serena and how women who are pregnant for a while and go away come back and are treated in tennis.
Well, this is already a law in tennis. It's not they're not bringing in a new rule. Some seeded players can get seeding in Grand Slams only, not 1000 Masters or Grand Slam only, if the committee of the Grand Slam says this person should get a seeding based on what took the person out, not injury, maybe things like pregnancy or stuff. Yeah, so the committee can decide of their own free will that this is what we are going to do. We are going to see that. Now, the #1 seed, Simona Halep, said, look, this woman should be seated ultimately, because what it looks like is like you guys are punishing her because she had a child.
Yes.
That's my point, because the rule has been there, but how often have they implemented it for pregnant women?
Yeah, but most in general, the people that have really had this problem are lowly ranked players, or maybe classes who left the game completely and then came back. It was different.
Yes.
So it hasn't been a real issue. I think she's one of the top players that are now bringing it to
as an issue, so they see that it needs to be used.
That's why there's a bit of a struggle. If there's precedents, they'll be able to know what to do, even if the law is open-ended. So one person coming out to say that it's totally impossible, she has to get into the top 32 so that she can be ranked, and then he realizes, okay, there's an opening. she can get in. But it's going to be a struggle. I think, if you ask me, she should be seeded based on her Wimbledon, the last Wimbledon performance, and where she left off. I think she should be seeded. However, think about it. They can only see 32 players. The 32nd player that thought that they had crept in, you now tell the person that no, you should go out. It may be tough pill to swallow, but whatever decision they take, I guess she have to play.
Thank you very much for that, Tega. We've got to take a break just before we do. Shagun Manuel from Ikorodu says, CAF banned Giwa, FIFA banned Giwa. The NUJ should just ban him for life, Jerry. That's a troublesome man he is. We'll take this break and we'll be back. We're still talking a lot of sports right here inside the locker room on Smooth Breakfast.
Music, love life. Love music, love life.
I don't ban everybody.
Yeah, he's just
Dublin.
it's just rubbish. And here's what it is. Here's my problem with the NFF. And I always say this: if you're leading anybody, even if it's just two people, your information should be proactive. Because as soon as the court made their ruling, Giwa people were up in the papers and on social media tweeting their own version of the story. The NFF was marking. Even the what's it called now? The guy that media communications person of the NFF did not do anything till the news had gone round that they had nullified the election. It has gone round, then they came out to say, we are now hearing news in the media. What the hell are you hearing? Why did you come out and say, we are in court to listen to this and then
follow.
This was the immediate. It should be proactive. It should be immediate.
That's his job.
Always, I'm telling you, always catching things on the behind will bring issues like this. Now this guy can.
No, that's a reactive position.
That's what it is. Taken. So at first, you've caused the sponsors to panic because most of them brought their money based on the fact that the house is finally
stable.
Yeah, you understand? Then you don't do that, and that's where the problem with the NFF is. Which is why I don't call them to come and speak at night. Because they haven't gotten it right. What are they going to come and tell us? This is your call. They didn't give you 2 copies.
No, this for work. Nice. I'm shooting and stuff today. That's my.
Are you serious? You started shooting?
Yeah, I'm shooting different things.
Oh, okay. This is what happens when you hear a lot of radio commercials. You start singing it unconsciously.
You need help. You are singing it consciously. I think you're not conscious.
It's not conscious.
You're conscious. You like this music. I've been used to see here with you before. I don't like it.
Rich financials. That's what this is. What? I have to go to the gym after this. I have to go and pay for that.
Yeah, I'm always filming different things. Celebrity.
Oh yeah.
Not just celebrity.
MTV based celebrity.
Okay.
I go to their houses. You've seen the poster.
Oh, I've seen Prince.
Yeah.
Oh, my friend. Oh, I love Prince.
Yeah, he's lovely.
Yeah.
And Reminisce. Reminisce is really nice.
Oh yeah, I love Reminisce. Oh yeah. I met him once and I've never forgotten Reminisce.
He has such a lovely impression. Like so lovely. So
Reminisce
lovely.
is great.
Nice.
Realest guy. He's a real gentleman.
Those are my people. Did you give them my number? Okay, no. Reminisce is married.
Yeah.
I know. Don't worry.
How much are you paying her for that job?
She's not even doing any job, so I don't even know what we are doing.
How's not a job?
She can't even hook up a
Who's
friend.
not doing job?
For being her plug.
She's not even hooking up a friend.
Sorry, don't be angry.
Friendship goals.
Alright guys, we're back in 10 seconds. Studio. Yes, you are listening to Smooth 98.1. Specifically, welcome back into the Locker Room segment 981. Use that hashtag LockerRoom981 on Twitter, where Charles Chidozie has already sent us a message. He says, just when we thought we were about to have a peaceful preparation for Russia 2018, Giwa suddenly shows up with his drama. He's probably eyeing those latest funds from FIFA. Let's move on anyways, we've got more stories.
Yeah, I think he's very close to the truth. Zinedine Zidane insists that the Champions League is in Real Madrid's DNA after his side hung on to deny Bayern Munich and move on to the 4th final in 5 years. His words, he says, it's in the DNA of the club. We never stop fighting up to the very last minute, just as the Bayern players did tonight. This is our third final, but we suffered a lot. At the end, we were strong and lived with the pressure. We don't give up, and when you see Bayern's desire, we never give up because we wanted to win. But even if they played better, our desire was bigger. We played against a huge team. Juve was the same. PSG also. We are also happy. We're happy because we beat all three, despite having to suffer.
In their DNA, they suffer.
You can
They
brag like this
suffer.
when you're in your third final.
Finally, they come out on top. Wow.
Think about it. But here it's beginning to look that way. PSG was, if you ask me, was a walkover for Real Madrid. I think where it seemed like they rode their luck, and where you can say, okay, this is in their DNA, was with Juventus when they got the last minute penalty that people are still talking about it tomorrow, and this particular game. Where they did manage to hold on to that goal that they got.
Okay.
But I totally disagree with people that say Bayern play better. And I think people will only look at football as how you move, how much ball possession you have, how you move the ball around, as opposed to what you do when you don't have the ball. That's most important. And that's what Real Madrid has done to most of the teams that dominated possession on their home soil. Because what they do is they don't necessarily, so they haven't been fluid, especially against Juventus second leg and Bayern Munich over both legs. But what they have done is they have stopped those teams from playing their football like they like to play it. So they break up play easily, they put you on edge, and they do, it's just a lot of what they do, the way they pile on pressure without the ball. I mean, look at the goals yesterday. They had 3 shots on target, they scored 2. Look at the goals they scored yesterday. The first goal, 28 passes, and still Bayern Munich couldn't stop that equalizer from going in. The second goal was a nervy defender and the goalkeeper that left the net open for Benzema to score. So it wasn't really about what they were doing. And you saying Bayern Munich is a better team, for me, I question that. Yes, they had 57% of the ball possession, but they made schoolboy errors in defense. They made one too many passes in the midfield. And in the final third, where they could have been clinical, or where they're usually clinical, when you have the likes of Müller, Lewandowski, from Ribery, they were as jittery as if it was their first night, and you can take that to mean whatever you want it to mean, but they were jittery. And so the ball comes in, and Frank Ribery, that on a normal day would take a shot, was trying to control the ball sometimes, or making silly passes. There was just something extra they were not doing. Lewandowski wasn't as sharp, Thomas Müller wasn't as sharp. I mean, the 2 goals that came for Bayern Munich came from the most unlikely sources, James Rodriguez and Kimmich, who was playing fullback, right back for them. So you question how good were they. So even if they had ball possession, 57%, and they did have, I think it was about 20 or so chances at goal, they scored only 2. That's 0 point something % of the chances you created. How do you call that playing better? That's not playing better. That's just motion without progress. That's literally what they were doing. So I'm not really impressed. I think they should be disappointed in themselves. They should be disappointed in the performance they put up, because if you ask me, they could have done better. They dropped the ball with the second goal that they considered at home by Munich, and with the first goal that in the second half that they gave away, with the early goal in the second half that they gave away. That's where they dropped the ball. But Real Madrid, kudos to them. Yes, it's in your DNA. Ride your luck and your momentum. You're in the finals. Let's see who you face and how well you do.
Okay, Uncle Jay had sent in a message. He was the first in this morning. He says, Real Madrid, 3rd final in a row, 4th final in 5 years. Thank God, oh. Please congratulate me. Thank you.
Did you play? I didn't see no Uncle Jay there.
Congratulations, man.
Well, Bashram Yaba says, waiting they do give us safe. What is he looking for at the NFF? Let him wait until the end of his ban so he can recontest. While he also talks about Madrid, saying, how about Madrid? What type of nonsense luck are they having? Just like Mr. Bean. They have been unconvincing against Munich and Juve, but they just qualified. This is so annoying. Oh, sorry, Bash. Sorry. Let's see. Big E from K2 says, Folu Tega, I want you to holla Madrid. Holla Sparta, holla champions, holla them for the win, holla then for the Iron Throne, when your enemy help you for an opening goal and you get accolades. Thanks to Kelechiku Benzema, he says. Victor Osai says, the way LeBron is pushing the Cavs, it's just like Messi did to Barca and the UCL. They will meet their Roma very soon. And Chris says, Tega, take it easy on Bayern now. Madrid don't yeah them already. And Bingus says, Zidane has just been too lucky in his Champions League campaigns. I can't really explain the fact that he has qualified Madrid for the third final in a row. And Terry G says, Tega is right. Bayern played the better possession ball. Madrid were the clinical team. But no doubt the UCL is in their DNA. That anthem gingers them past Terry G, he says. That's Shegun Manuel from Kurdu coming with that statement. But we move on now to talk about Jurgen Klopp, who says that Liverpool will fight for their dreams ahead of Wednesday's Champions League semi-final second leg against Roma. The Liverpool boss said, we are here to fight for our dreams, and that's how it is. We want to go to the final, as you can imagine. We're very positive at Anfield. We were 5-0 up, and then we conceded 2, and then after the game, a few people had the feeling that we lost, but we didn't. We were still 5-2 up. Meanwhile, people think Roma only needed to win 3-0, but that's quite a result to pull off.
Yeah, but I think people look at that based on what Roma has already done this season. Beat Chelsea 3-0 at home, beat Barcelona 3-0 at home. It's the fact that they're not conceding at home that makes them a little hopeful that 3-0 is not such a big deal to surmount. But if you ask me, with the way that Liverpool are playing and the way that Salah is going, I still don't see today how Roma would play without conceding a goal. And that's where the chink is. If Roma had scored a third goal against Liverpool at Anfield, I would have said definitely no chance Roma would qualify tonight, because it was more mathematically possible, and based on form it would have been feasible. But looking at this, and Liverpool has already seen what Roma can do. Now Liverpool may not be the best defensively, no doubt, but they can score goals.
Okay.
And because they've won 5-2 at home, if you ask me, 3-0 at home is a better result than 5-2, because what it means is that you've given the opposition 2 away goals. That's a big one to ride. But because Liverpool can score goals, and they do score goals, that's where the problem with Roma is. And Roma's defense is not the sturdiest, even if they have not conceded against Barcelona and against Chelsea. The thing about Barcelona and Chelsea is that there's a method to how they play that you can counter. First of all, going forward, the pace for Chelsea and Barcelona up front is not anything near the pace that Liverpool has up front. And there's something about playing the ball behind the defenders, and somebody can run faster than you. There's no how do you defend somebody that you cannot catch up with? And that's where the problem is. So Sadio Mane was rested over the weekend. He's in full flight, and he can get hurt. Roma. So I think he has Klopp. It is looking from where I'm sitting like a Real Madrid Liverpool final, except Roma can wave a magic wand.
All right.
Alex Iwobi is confident that he'll be fit for Arsenal's Europa League semi-final second leg against Atletico Madrid on Thursday. Arsene Wenger revealed after the match that Iwobi had injured his hamstring, but Iwobi is optimistic he'll be able to take part in Thursday's game at the Wanda Metropolitano. Do you think his confidence will really come?
Well, he may be fit enough to take. But it's a hamstring. I don't think he should. I don't think he should risk it. And that's the Nigerian in me talking, because the World Cup is just here. Don't risk it. Take your time and heal. The good news for them, like I said, is Mkhitaryan is back, so they have that option of playing him. Unfortunately, they don't have Aubameyang, but they still have Lacazette, who seems to be in good form recently. So their setup really for 1-1 is not a bad result. It could have been better if they went to Madrid with a 1-0 scoreline, but 1-1 is not as fatal as people think it is. So I think they can go to Atletico Madrid and pull off a surprise. However, Atletico Madrid are also stingy in defense sometimes. So and Arsenal take like 28 passes to score 1 goal. That's where the problem is. So let's see how it turns out for them. All I know is that it's going to be interesting on Thursday, and I think Arsenal has what it has in its potential to shock people. Whether they will be able to bring that potential to reality is the question.
We will see.
A few messages before we take this break. Olumide Brown up on Twitter says, Tega, do you sleep at all? You did try watching NBA all night. That must be tiring. Can see why she's sleepy sometimes when she comes in. Well, Ibrahim Hervest says Real Madrid versus Bayern. Tega's a premier, right, Joe? Bayern should rue the chances that they missed. Match pay Misha. While Nathan Njoku says Bayern would have provided a better result for us than Madrid, but it's good Sha being the one to end Madrid's UCL dominance. Will win the UCL and Mo Salah the Ballon d'Or. Okay, congratulations. We'll be back in just a bit. It'll be the final few minutes of sports right here inside the locker room. Don't go anywhere. This is still Smooth Breakfast.
I don't care who wins. If Liverpool wins, Miss Rachel will be here on Friday morning. We have to lock the studio door. We have to lock it so that it doesn't make it
how
in.
did that boxing match with
I saw him yesterday. I bumped into him yesterday at the cinema. Actually,
When was it?
It was like it was fine. It was on Friday or on Saturday. Sorry.
I was
It was on
in the
Saturday.
cotton sleeping good too.
No, he told me I just had a few things I had
He
to
sent me,
work
yeah,
out,
he sent me, but I couldn't see. Okay, I had a problem with my internet.
Oh, so you couldn't
So
download the
couldn't-
image?
Yeah.
No, he told me. I just messaged him back straight. I was like, bro, I have like 4 places I'm meant to be on this day, so clearly work. But it was good. When I saw him, I just said, okay, at least they did not destroy you. You are
Yes.
still alive. Your face looks good. It's good. You know, he was like, no, it's good.
Oh, I went to this GC Bank food and drink. That inside place was poorly designed.
It was good, Joe. I
That
was there
inside,
yesterday.
that inside place, I was yesterday. I went was poorly designed.
Okay,
And I
why
will
did you
tell
say that?
Why. So you come into the place and they have gourmet desserts. So they have like the way they line it up. Then you get to the stalls and you have to look. I went when there were people, which is where the
Okay, because
problem
of
was.
Yeah,
the-
I was going to say,
Yeah.
I know when you went.
Yeah.
You should have gone early.
You have to now look. You have to start looking above
Peering
people,
over people
which was why outside was way better because outside you just see it there.
up top.
Up top. So I
No, but outside still, they still put it.
no. But their stuff was
The
attention.
general description was up there. The bottom.
So if you see the general description up there, you can just know.
We're back in the studio. And we're in. It's the final few minutes of sports inside the locker room.
We have this next story. It says several Iranian women have caught people's attention by revealing the lengths they go to attend a football match.
Right.
Donning beards and wigs. They disguise themselves as men so they could watch their team, Metropolis, play rivals Sibdrud at the Azadi Stadium in Tehran last Friday. Now, images of the women at the stadium have been widely shared on both Persian and English social media. Although there's no official ban on women going to sporting events in Iran, it is rare for them to attend as they are often refused entry.
Yes.
I hope they aren't stigmatized. I hope they didn't show their faces up close.
Yes. that's another
I
concern.
hope they don't look for them because and that was
Yeah.
where the mistake was. It was their friends that they went with that took pictures,
pictures and put up.
and put up that they made it. So
my.
I think I think now look they're right. The thing is. They didn't say women should not come to the stadium, but when you reach the gate, you can't enter, and that's where the problem is. So these women really wanted to watch football, and there's not much you can do with Iran. I mean, countries are trying to stop them from doing different things. They're not talking football. So that's what eventually I hope that the authorities don't look for those women and
punish them for
and
that.
punish them for I hope so because the pictures are really everywhere and I'm sure with a few clicks of the button you can know which
Somebody's
woman is
uncle will
what.
just say, isn't
Just,
this your daughter?
That's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
that's your
Uh-huh.
niece. Why is
Yeah,
she there?
that's where the problem may
Yeah.
be. But really, Iran should look into it. If women are going to these lengths to want to watch football,
Come on.
then they should open the
Just
gates. And
relax,
they're not
those.
going to watch. I mean, it's their local derbies.
Yeah.
So throw open the gates, let these women come in and enjoy yourself.
I do have to say it does speak to the power of sports though, which is very
Yeah.
nice.
Yes,
It's very
it
lovely
does.
to see sports bringing people together and just saying, do you know what, this football we're gonna watch it. It don't matter
I
that.
don't have to wear a beard or a wig.
Yeah, that's how serious it is. We'll round up with your messages. Am I from Akoka says, Hala Madrid, Bayern should fix up their game. How can you lose both legs after going up first? Not impressive, and I can't wait to see Liverpool and Real Madrid final, he says. While Dozier asks, so would Real Madrid still let go of Zidane at the end of the season after his unique work of wonder?
No.
I don't.
If he wins this one, he's staying definitely.
Well, Imo Famika just says, Tega amigo, please help comment on what you think will happen to English football if Liverpool win the UCL and Arsenal win the Europa.
Hey, we are finished.
Simply
We are
put.
finished.
And then Dr. Aya from Isolo says Liverpool should tread carefully. Barca had not lost by a margin more than 2-0 all season, but Roma dealt with them anyways. I see Liverpool versus Real Madrid for the final. And Big E comes back to say, question to Tega, why is it that some games are played late in the night like basketball, WWE and some other games?
It's time zones now.
Yeah, it's the time zone. It's the time. It's the place in the world it's being broadcast
Yeah.
from. And Basham Yaba says, "I hope the Liverpool make the final against Roma because Roma don't have what it takes to beat Madrid. Liverpool have beaten Madrid in the final before. All right, it should be heated." And Cruz says, "Tega, can LIS do something for Iranian women?"
We'll try eventually, but right now we're doing things for African women. And yeah, make sure you're there for the Ladies in Sports conference.
When is it?
First up at Sheraton.
So find
Hotel
details
in
on
the-
the social media handle. Eh?
Yeah.
Yes,
Lagos,
at
ladies
LIS International.
Yeah, I
There
knew
you
it.
go,
I knew
there
that.
you go.
Yeah.
And Ade says, Tega, that's what's going to happen. Liverpool for UCL and Arsenal for Europa. And we're done with Sports Inside the Locker Room for this morning. Big thank you to Tega. Please find her online, not just at LIS International, but as at Tega Supreme. And then Valentine and myself, you can find it still here on the airways till 10 o'clock. In the last hour of Smooth Breakfast, you, Lagos, are going to be talking with us. Good morning.
Almost sounded like.
Did you leave your
What's
nail
that?
polish in it? Because I wanted to call you.